This is Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to another edition of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. I say another because this actually is a new edition. Do not adjust your TVs. For the first time in months, we are able to get together and actually play a brand new game. There are only 4 teams left in our tournament. These teams have been pretty anxious, as we have been, maybe you have been as well, to get this tournament underway or get this tournament finished, and we are about to do that in the next 4 weeks or so. This game is a rematch of our Season 5 finale. Let's hear a nice round of applause for the Auburn Knights. Auburn made it here by beating Harlem 350 to 160. Justin led the way with 9 correct buzz-ins. Justin is our captain. Justin, introduce us to the rest of your team.
Well, I'm Justin. This is Ashley, Andy, and Jacob.
Welcome, Auburn Knights. There was half applause there, and maybe I'm not too sure, but we'll move on now to say hello to the Belvedere Bucks. Belvedere won our Battle of Boone County earlier in the tournament. They beat Belvedere North 270 to 250. That came down to the final question in the game. Matthew buzzed in 8 times correctly for that. You can't see under his mask, but he is smiling because he remembers those moments, very importantly. James is the captain. James, introduce us to the rest of your team.
Okay, I'm James, and today we have Aston, Matthew, and John.
Welcome, Belvedere Bucks. Maybe the most important fun fact of this game is that both teams have answered all of the Bergstrom bonus questions correctly. So possibly for the first time this season, one of these teams goes going home pizzaless. Let's get to our buzz-in round, shall we? You guys remember how to play this game? Hopefully I do. My job should be simple. I'm just reading what's on the sheet here. Let's get started with our buzz-in round. Hands on your buzzers for our first question in this game. What character who worshipped a god named Benamucky stopped being a cannibal after meeting Robinson Crusoe? Matthew.
Friday.
That is correct. Who named him after a weekday? Belvedere, you are first on the board with 10 points. What Indian-American actor who played Tom Haverford on Parks and Recreation stars as Dev Shah on the Netflix series Master of None? He won an Emmy and a Golden Globe for that Master of None performance. Aziz Ansari. No points either team. Here's a new question. What painter of The Surrender of Breda showed Justin?
Velasquez.
That is correct. There's a long rest of a question there I won't even bother with. You just get your 10 points. Auburn, you are now on the board. The EPA was established under what president? Justin.
Nixon.
That is correct. Whose advisor, Henry Kissinger, negotiated the Paris Peace Accords and ended the Vietnam War. 10 more points, Auburn. What American author wrote about a deaf-mute character named John Singer in her novel, The Heart is a Lonely Hunter? Justin.
O'Connor.
Incorrect. Belvedere, you have a chance for this one. No answer. She was 23 when that book was published. Carson McCullers. New question, teams. What term, which in the plural titles an unfinished epic by Ezra Pound, refers to a section of a long poem? James.
The Wasteland.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Auburn. And comes from the Italian for song. Jacob.
Cantos.
That is correct. Canto, or the Cantos, is that unfinished epic, and you've got 10 more points, Auburn. You've got 30 now. Joan of Arc is often called the maid of what French city? Matthew.
Orleans.
That is correct. In 1429, she broke an English siege there during the 100 Years' War. 10 more, Belvedere. What 5-letter word, which John Gay wrote a beggar's type of, denotes a genre of classical music that includes Aida by Giuseppe Verdi? Matthew.
Opera.
That is correct. It was the Beggar's Opera that John Gay wrote. We are tied now at 30. Initiation, propagation, and termination are the steps in chain reactions involving what reactive species that have unpaired electrons? Jacob.
Free radicals?
That's right. Unpaired electrons seemed to be the clue you needed there. You got that quickly after that, and 10 more points is on your score, Auburn. What ancient Greek scientist supposedly made a heat ray and Ashley.
Archimedes.
That's right. He also supposedly ran out of a bath shouting Eureka after he discovered his namesake principle of buoyancy. 10 more points. The Lehigh River has its source in what U.S. state's Pocono Mountains? A popular, Justin.
Pennsylvania.
That's right. Popular natural resort area in the Northeast. That's 10 more points. What company, which co-founder Chris Hughes thinks should be broken up? Jacob.
Facebook.
That's right. Plans to launch a cryptocurrency called Libra and has more than 2 billion users. 10 more points. What Rudyard Kipling poem is named after a much-abused Indian water carrier who is said to be Matthew?
Gunga Din.
That is right. A better man than the British narrator. That narrator is pretty terrible to him, isn't he? 10 more points for you, Belvedere. What country, which was called a dominion in reference to Psalm 72, was founded after the Charlottetown Conference by the British North America Act? Matthew.
Canada.
That's right. And that's 10 more points. Newton's first law describes what property of matter, which names a moment that multiplies, Andy.
Inertia.
That's right, multiplies angular velocity to give the angular momentum. 10 more points, and that's how we end the round. Auburn, you're up to 80. Belvedere, you have 50. 1 round down, 3 more to go of our first new game of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl in a while. We'll be back with our volleyball round after this quick break. Don't go away.